Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sonic Sunday number 23. And we don't have a topic today. I do have something I want to show you at the end. I have some new tools that I've been playing with, and I just wanted to give you a taste of them. But before I do that, I just wanted to check in with you guys and see how y'all are doing and ask me some questions or share with me some um, whatever you're challenged by at the moment, because I want to do a tuning for all of us, but I'm lacking inspiration today, so I thought I would get it from you all. So so anybody has a thought on what is challenging for you in the world at the moment, in your bodies? I think I've been kind of very aware of the uptick of 5G, um, and all of the ambient man-made radiation. I feel it in my ears. I just sort of sense a sense of general discombobulation in the force, and I wonder if other people are feeling that as well. So somebody's saying calming nervous system. We always calm the nervous system. That's really what tuning is all about. I've been I'm always working on how to language what it is I do with tuning forks because it's so weird, right? And especially like working with groups on Zoom and things like that. And uh, and so this morning I was working on about how our interpersonal relationships are pretty much always a reflection of our own state. And the more tangles we have in our fields, the more likely we are to have our tangles encounter other people's tangles, and then we kerfluffle. And how, if we want to have harmonious relationships and interactions in the world, we really have to work at creating a high degree of coherence in our own system. Right? When you're centered and relaxed and groovy and well fed and well rested, you're much less likely to tussle with anyone than if you're bent. So maybe we want to do a session on getting unbent, getting into alignment, and yeah, getting a little more combobulated, if that's a word. So maybe we'll just jump right into that. And yeah, experiencing extreme anxiety. Yeah, there's a kind of like jangly feel in the collective at the moment. And it's really hard for us to not be informed by the morphic field of humanity. The vibes in the collective are created by all of us. And if we're all discombobulated and jangly, and 5G is uh, maybe amplifying that, it's pretty hard to be smooth and grounded and groovy. So, all right, let's do a tuning. I'm going to start with the 144 because it's really good at resonating the jangle. So I'm just going to tune in and listen to start. And I see we have 144 people here at the moment. I weighed myself at the gym today, about to use 144 hertz fork, and I weigh 144 pounds. So it's interesting repeating number. Okay, everybody, now we're up to 150. Let's take a moment to just close our eyes and just tune into how you feel right now. Just feel where that jangly feeling or anxiety, like where is it bouncing around in your body? Is it in your shoulders? Is it in your gut? Is it in your head? Where are you feeling discomfort? Yeah, here we go. We're just gonna listen to that. So I just want you, I don't want you to try to do anything. I just want you to listen and see what you notice. And I'm listening to all of you, even those of you who are watching the recording months later. I'm listening to you too. It just works that way in the world of ether and plasma and sound harmonics. Okay, hear that? Dull, fuzzy, jangly, muffled. Yeah. So just notice where you feel that in your body. I'm just going to strike this for a little bit and just be quiet. And I just want you to really be feeling it. I see comment kind of worn out, um, staticky, fuzzy, all that. Butterflies and twisted knots in my stomach. Yeah, sort of kind of a collective mess this morning. For those of you who are not a mess, thank you for being here and sending in your coherent vibe to the mix. It's uncomfortable, right? It's very uncomfortable. I like to make you hang out on the discomfort before we get to the comfort, because you really got to feel it and know, like, this is going on in my body. Pretty good at white noising out discomfort, some of us. You got to feel it to heal it, unfortunately. Okay, starting to come in a little bit stronger, a little bit more coherent. Because your body hears the dissonance and goes, oh God, I'm out of order. And it uses that reflection to start putting itself in order. We're all designed to be in order. Nature is in order. The fundamental ground state of reality is coherence. It's love, really. Another wonky thing. What's that? That wonky tone is definitely making my shoulders relax, so that's good. There's a lot of exhaustion in the tone, just to kind of like warm down. I think that, gosh, sometimes I wish it was the 70s again. Life was a lot simpler. This is like, ah, this is road rage. ah, ah. So every time I strike the fork, it's just tapping into another set of data points in the collective. Each strike is resonating some kind of distortion in one of you, some of you. There's a lot going on. It's most interesting. Like, there's another. I feel like our own signals are being really manipulated, really, really manipulated, very intentionally manipulated. Some of you who know Sabrina Wallace, I think, she talks about the nefarious use of our biofields. And, how do we find sovereignty in our own signal and our connection to God and to nature in the midst of all this noise, right? There's just so much noise everywhere. So, how do we find our own true north energetically, have our inner antenna dial to that pure signal that we want to tune into and not all the discord that we're surrounded by? Oh yeah, I mean, let's not. I think we'd all be so much better off unplugging from everything in the media because it induces rancor and it jerks emotions around and it divides us. Inwardly divided, outwardly divided, and full of rancor and stress. Intentionally, it's intentional, guys. I don't know if I've ever heard this pork sound so bad so long. Just breathe that in. Like, I feel this particular tone in particular is there's some resistance and some disassociation. So really go where that's feeling in your body, like a very uncomfortable place. Right? Really bring your somatic awareness in. Don't think. Just be so curious about like where is that sound resonating? How is that impacting me? What does my body want to do with it? Am I subconsciously resisting going there? Right? Because it's one of the things with this fork is that it likes to go to the places you don't want to go. One of the things I like about it. And because it's for your own good to go there. It's like, right? So there's some real resistance, some real like, I'm not going there, I'm just not going there. So I'm using the 144. I just said earlier that I weigh 144 pounds, and there were 144 people on when I picked it up. There we go. Yeah, be willing to like go there, like breathe into these areas, like expand a bit. Really let for those of you who are sitting, feel your feet on the ground, feel your butt in the chair. Get more of a boss attitude going on with your willingness to just really be. Yeah. I mean, the way that we deal with this is we get stronger. You have to be the strong, coherent signal. And I was talking about that, right? Make your own signal strong and clear. And then you overtake, you entrain, you buffer the noise in the environment. I feel deep sadness. Yeah, I mean, probably everybody's got deep sadness. That's the world. That's where we're all united, guys. We're all united in our pain. All this division, men, women, colored skin, political, blah, blah, blah. Where we all connect is in that sadness, in that pain. We all have that in common, right? All of us. And the rancor shuts down our compassion and our ability to care and to connect and to see other people as human. No, tuning's really taught me that if I took either one of those candidates that I, feel kind of this way about an ordinary life and I put them on my table, that I would be able to access deep compassion, presence, caring, and curiosity. I aspire to live from that place. It's not easy to do. But that's the truth. When we're in the field of another human being, and especially in the role of a healer, all that goes away. That's real. So, what in you is resisting that compassion for yourself and compassion for others? And that's one of the things that just gets turned off, right? The compassion, the empathy. Primarily for ourselves, it starts with ourselves. Can you soften and open? There we go. Compassion is like a soft blooming of a flower in the solar plexus. And the illuminated opening supports the heart and opening. Compassion doesn't come from the heart, it comes from the solar plexus. So bring yourself just into that awareness in the solar plexus. And soften the shoulders. Can you hang out there? Can you just soften to yourself? That's good. Right, I've been thinking about this idea of the jewel in the heart of the lotus and what that means. To really rest in that still space of your inner divinity and not be thrashing around in the froth of the surface noise. Yeah, just really allow that whole solar plexus area to soften, to expand, to brighten. And as we bring this center point into a place of more presence, illumination, coherence, then that can start to radiate out from there. And see what gets in the way. There's some diaphragm. This is like the diaphragm doing this. Right? So if anybody's got a wonky diaphragm, you're struggling to bring your awareness in there. Just let the sound find its way in. Maybe make some sound or shake or wiggle or stretch or growl or what's in the way. Like, what is that tension? It's usually a sound, some kind of trapped sound. So you feel like you have ants in your pants. Those are all sounds you haven't let out. Yeah, just for those of you who can, like, if you've got tension anywhere in this process of this inner kind of flowering, give it a sound. Let it express. Be a 5-year-old, right? I tell 5-year-olds to make sounds. They make great sounds. Don't hold back. All right, I'm going to switch forks. Good luck. I'm going to come in with a 174 now. And just see where this goes. Keep kind of fostering an awareness of this idea of a lotus of compassion, presence, calmness in the solar plexus. And I'm not taking us to the heart for a reason, right? Because what this does when this really, it's very hard for a heart to be open if it's not supported by the lower centers. It kind of become top heavy. And there's a lot of other stuff in the heart. There's anger and there's hate and there's self-pity and world pain. And there's like can be a lot of stuff in the way to just be like, oh, I'm open-hearted. so so when we go down and we support the structure underneath and we allow ourselves to rest in that, that provides just a natural, like kind of almost effortless, uh, illuminated radiance arising from the heart. Maybe let some tension just kind of drain out the shoulders, low back, the hips, down the legs, and out the feet. That are heavy, tired, dull, stuck, fed up, done. Blah. And you just kind of let that slough and kind of slither down off your body, down into the ground. Open up some little portals in your feet. Let those heavy layers just kind of slough down into a drain. Maybe your feet want to move around. My jaw wants to open up. Right, so this is all about making space inside and settling what is not settled, opening what is scrunched. Good. So now you hear that, how that's changing. That's really brightening. That's letting in a lot more light. That's just some stuff that was like, it's just kind of let go and is sort of expanding. Remember, as we heal and we get more in tune, we don't ascend. We're not going to 5D, in my humble opinion. We're actually landing in our bodies. We're descending and really letting our whole energy connect into this plane, into this realm. You're here, right? Be here. Don't be like trying to ascend or vibe higher or get out of your body. You know, the bliss body is actually go really deep in. And then when you go deep in and then you expand from there, right? And so healing is expanding in every direction. It's not just going up. It's getting bigger, deeper, wider, calmer. I heard a great saying. I was in a podcast last week, and he said that enlightenment is being unperturbed by everything. And I have a friend who's in Jamaica, older Jamaican gentleman, and he has a mantra that he is unfrustratable, which I love. Right, so the more kind of full and spacious we become, the more our bubble becomes a buffer from what's out there. Right? Yeah, amplifying and expanding. Good. Now you guys are starting to find a groove. That's a lot better. Okay, let's do a little 222. Oh, we got 235 people. Last time we pulled out the 222 in Sonic Sunday number 22. We were 22 minutes into the, I don't know, and 222 people. It was a cool alignment. I like it when that sort of thing happens. Okay, this is the fork of being. Just being. Being in the core of your being. Being in your illuminated core of your being. And you know what? It's sweet in there, right? The jewel in the heart of the lotus is actually this incredible sweetness. I had this thought the other day and I was folding laundry that, all the stuff, right, in our material world, I mean, it's really all spun light, spun ether. It's really all God. And so when we do something like wash dishes or fold laundry, make it like a meditation of caressing the beloved, right? The way to turn sort of mundane um, chores into this sort of beloved appreciation of the essence of life itself, and to fold your laundry with loving care because you're touching God, right? So how can we bring love and coherence into every mundane chore? Like realizing the preciousness of life. When you're on your deathbed, you're like, shit, I'd be happy to fold some laundry right now. Just in these small acts. And then when you fold your laundry neatly and well, and you do your dishes neatly and well, you're also honoring yourself. You're honoring the divine in you. So it doesn't become some kind of meaningless chore to get through and on to the meditation mat, right? It is like all of these things, every movement that we can bring this sort of grace and mindfulness into. Because all we got is the moment. Whatever you got to do in the moment, you might as well bring that presence to it. Right? Can you just find peace in doing laundry? I don't know how people know me and how much I hate folding laundry. But I was like, oh, I got to stop hating folding laundry. Start loving folding laundry. Ah. All right, I'm going to do just a couple more of these and then we want to check in and see how everyone's doing. The ecstasy is the laundry. I don't know if I go so far as say it's ecstatic, but I'll work on that. All right. So go ahead, guys, and just sort of check in with your body, see what you notice in this moment. How do you feel different than when we started a little while ago? Just anchor that in, drop that in the chat if anybody wants to share. Lighter, much more calm, calmer, more open and calm. And we're calm. This needs to be calm. Lighter overall. And it didn't take us too long. More relaxed, flowing. Good. Yeah. I feel better too. I don't feel that sort of jangly all over the place feeling that I was feeling um, when I sat down. Good. Okay. So now that we're all kind of present, we're grounded, I want to play a little bit with these new tools that I have. I want to show you how cool they are. And they should also help us to continue to feel um, more bobulated, as Don says. Um, good. Okay, so when I first started using tuning forks, I got the C major scale set of forks back in 1996, and I used them for um, a long time. But then it was around 2006 that I started to feel like I needed a different set. And the set I ended up with was the 9-piece solfeggio set. And I found that that particular set of frequencies was really clear and light and bright and uplifting, very clarifying. Whereas after a while, the C scales started to sound kind of dull and dumb and muddy, and I ended up abandoning it altogether and just using the solfeggio forks. But then when I went through the whole experience of breaking those forks in abundance, and that's a whole other story, that led to the creation of my own special alloy of forks. And this came from a lot of R&D. It took over a year. Todd at MetaVibe sent me all these different alloys and different gauges, and I was working really hard, seeing like 25 people a week back then. So was able to really test them all. And the last man standing became the alloy that makes Biofield Tuning forks. However, it's expensive and it's really twice as expensive as other forks. And so I didn't want my students to have to buy a whole set of really expensive forks. So I pared it down to the 174 and the 528. And a few years later, we added the 517, the 417. But recently I started kind of wondering about how they would sound in our alloy. And so we decided to introduce the full solfeggio set in our alloy. Now, it's expensive. Like, there's just no getting around it. But I was thinking this morning, kind of a comparison, like the difference between like a chef's knife you buy at Family Dollar versus a high quality chef knife. And that's really where we're at here. Like if you know, if you are serious about what you do, you want to have good tools. It's going to make you better at it. And so they are an investment, but they're gorgeous and they're just so beautiful. And I love them. They're shining here next to me, looking all precious. So I'm just gonna go through. I'm gonna activate them so that you can hear each one. Now, I do have a class coming up next week. I think it is where I'm going to maybe Dawn can find a way to drop the actual date in the links there for us, where I'm going to go through each one of the forks. I'm going to do a tuning. So it's a 90-minute live class. It's a tuning with all the new solfeggio forks and kind of my take on what each frequency relates to. So I'm going to go in depth into this soon, but I wanted to give you a little taste of it right now if you don't end up joining me at that. So the Solfeggio Forks, there's a lot of kind of lore out there and skepticism, and I don't know, 528's a miracle, frequency of love. I just like, please take everything you've ever heard about Solfeggio Forks and just throw it out the window. Each frequency is not like for miracles or this or that. That's certainly not been my experience with them at all. And I've been using them a lot for a long time. Okay. So I think I'm kind of an authority, a real world authority on these forks. People always want to know, like, what's the frequencies for this and what's the frequencies for that? And it's really not quite like that. It is somewhat like 174 is a great fork for field combing, really is. But you're not going to find that in any of those little charts, 174, good for field combing. You won't find that out there. My stuff all comes from experience. Okay, I hear you. You're like, shut up. Let's hear the forks. Okay, yeah, I hear you. Here we go. Okay, now what I also have next to me is a cheap set that I bought on Amazon. And for some of them, I'll let you hear both forks so that you have some comparison about the dollar store knife versus higher quality chef's knife. Okay, so 280. Now, the ones you already know, 174, right? So I don't need to play that for you. This is 285. So just notice where you feel that. Where does that land for you? You want to wiggle. Right? And it makes me want more. Like, I'm intrigued by this work. I'm like, oh, I kind of want to hang out with that some more. We'll do one more. Gary says my brain rattles with that. Okay, this next one is 396. Notice what that is. Yeah, it's a little shrill. Makes me relax down in my pelvis a little bit. Right, when the forks are shrill, a lot of times that's just tapping into some resistance, some tension. Right, so that's my fork. Let's listen to 396 in this other set. So these come with a little mallet. I'm just going to strike it with what it came with. Ugh, it hurts my heart. And it fades out really fast. Let's do it one more time. It's dim and sinking. Boy, that feels terrible. I don't want to do that. Right? It's a big difference. So let's just listen to this one again. See, with these forks, there's like this, there's this uplift and really strong midtones, and they just keep going and going and going and going. You've got this incredible like duration and a strength of lift. Sound produces levity, right? And so that's just part of like why they're useful. If you're feeling "Bleh," and you get a sound healing, all of a sudden you're like, you feel because it's lifting. Yeah, much better sustain. Okay, this next one is 639. And these all just go higher and higher. So, they might sound a little shrill. They always sound better in person. What did I say this was? 639. Where do you feel that? It just opens up more light for me. you want to hear the cheap one? No, Eileen, don't subject us to that. No, I'm going to. Here we go. I mean, that's just miserable. This is not a sound healing tool. This is just a terrible, cheap thing. And they're sticky too, which is sort of weird. No. All right, let's keep going. So the next one is 741. Now, some of you may be being introduced to these particular frequencies for the first time, right? So this is like, wow, my body's never heard that one. And so, it might sound or feel uncomfortable at first. Like this one's like really pinched and reflecting like, this is like your inner, 4 or 5-year-old that's learning how to hold yourself back and in because your anger and your fussiness is not really allowed, right? So this has got a real like inner child pull back in kind of feeling. So let's just do a bit of this one. It's got some funky stuff going on. Okay, so what are you noticing? We're going to do this a little bit more because I really feel like this one's really working on us today. This is a good one. It's not a bad one. There we go. It's actually getting my ears to relax. Opening space in the rib cage and shoulders. Right? I could sit here for an hour with this fork with you guys. It would probably take us on quite the journey. Right. So this is the sort of thing, like if you get these forks, you can sit by yourself. You can just sit with them. You just sit and activate them and feel them in your body. Each one resonates with a different kind of layer of your being. Right. So much going on. This one is 741. So those solfeggio forks all reduce to a 3, a 6, or a 9. So 7 plus 4 is 11. Plus 1 is 12, and then 1 and 2 is 3. Right, and this isn't a true tone. It's just still like this is a working tone. It is definitely getting in there and everybody kind of, the rib cage, right? A few of you mentioned that. That's what I'm feeling, a kind of opening and more movement in the ribs, right? So here we are as a group observing that the 741 might be loosening up our rib cage. You're not going to find that on any of those little charts out there. It is not, right? So don't pay attention to any of those. Part of me wants to stop and move on, but we're still, I don't know, this feels important. So I guess I'll just keep using it. Thanks, guys, for those of you who showed up live. I always appreciate that you want to tune in. And all those of you who are watching the recording, maybe hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed yet, do that. Okay, so you want to know how much the set is. So the set of 6 is $450, I believe. And if you don't already have the 174, the 528, and the 417 from me, you can get the full 9-piece set. And I don't remember how much that is. Dawn, maybe you can go look it up and drop it in the chat for people. All right, this is the last one of these. Good. All right, let's keep going. And I won't play any more of the bad ones anymore because they're really offensive, right? So friends, don't let friends buy cheap tuning forks on Amazon, okay? Like trying to save money to do something like this doesn't make any sense. So ooh, this is what is this? 8:52. That sounds terrible. Okay, so this is super thin, super pinched. Feels like congestion in the face. So we'll do a few of these and see where this wants to go in and open up space. They're not ready yet. They have not come out yet. I'm just teasing you. They do come out soon though, but I always forget dates. I think it's this week. It might be Thursday of this week that we're releasing them, and the link will be ready. Oh, all right. Everybody needs to breathe. You all need to find where this tension is and breathe into it. I don't like the way this is sounding. Where does it want to go? And really breathe into it. And then go again, like do it like a boss. You know, like being like, kind of coming up here in the throat. You know, what are you not saying? What are you not expressing? I really want to challenge you to express authentically. How about just for today, you guys, you're just authentic with all of your expressions. I challenge you to that. That's what this fork really feels like it's speaking to. It's like, stop holding yourself back. You can be authentic and be likable. It's really possible. So in the class, in the 90-minute class, we're really going to be able to go in depth with each of these, right? So I'm not going to be able to hang out with these until they get to complete resolution right now, because it's just going to take too long. But if you join me for that class, or it'll be available for sale after the fact, we'll really be able to hang out with each of these tones until they really work their magic, like all the way through the body. And we get to that past the working tone and into the clear tone, right? So this is, like I said, I'm teasing you. Okay, this is the last one. This is the highest frequency. This is 963. Whew. All right, so I'm just going to be quiet with this one just for a little bit here so we can finish up with it. All right, I want to invite you back into that beautiful lotus in the solar plexus. This illuminated, wavy, multi-petaled flower that's open, rustling gently in the breeze. And just feel a sense of inner illumination from that place. Feel the stillness that's within it. Let that radiate out from every petal with a gentle, tender, present, caring, loving, curious, grateful vibe. Just breathe into that. Just send loving compassion to every water molecule in your body, every part of your being. Just allow that light and presence. Yeah. Nice. So you all sound very present and sweet. Excellent. Okay, guys. Well, I feel a lot better than I did when I sat down. I'm definitely noticing I'm more settled and centered and ready to go into my day in an undiscombobulated way. So I hope that you also feel the same way and you're ready to go do some chores with love and gentleness. This last one was 963. So 963, 852, 741, 639, 396, and 285. So this is the 6-piece set. And if you need the 9-piece, we've got the 174, 528, and 417. So stay tuned for the announcement of when those are available. Stay tuned for the announcement of my upcoming class. I think it's just $25 for a 90-minute live tuning with these new forks. I'd love to see you there to experience more so we can really get into the deep clear that those can bring us to. So, all right. Love you all very much. Thanks again for joining me, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.